We are here for episode number 3 of Bearcat Blitz. I'm your host, Russ Heltman, all Bearcats reporter, joined by my co-host, Dominick Goodman, former UC wide receiver, and another former UC wide receiver. To start the show today, one of the most prolific players in program history, one of the most dynamic, versatile weapons to ever play the wide receiver position and return kicks in terms of special teams for UC, former wide receiver Mardy Gilyard, joining the podcast today, going to help us dive into the opening season for the Bearcats in the Big 12. We'll go down memory lane a little bit. Him and Dominick, teammates for a long time at UC, and right there close to each other in terms of the all-time receptions list at UC. Mardy, of course, in the top 3, top 2, or number 1 in almost every single major receiving category in the history of UC football, and he's joining us today. Mardy, thank you so much for giving us some time this afternoon.
Appreciate y'all boys, man. Before we get started, though, for real, I know I get a lot of accolades, you know what I'm saying? I get a lot of praise and a lot of that, but I really, 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 really want to make sure that people know who the great one is. The great one is that one. You know what I'm saying? Is the one that's on your co-host. You know what I mean? Then that's, I can't give this man enough of credit. You feel me? I can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't. It's like, I played corner, man. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't know this. Like, I played corner, you know, and then, you know, they know the whole homeless story, but it's like, Goody, if it wasn't for Goody and Bones, you know what I'm saying? Like, those two for sure. Like, those two. You know, it wouldn't have been no me like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, Good, I can't tell y'all how many that summer that when I got that scholarship back, and, you know, I'm out there in jeans, work jeans, and Timberland boots. You know what I mean? Goody can vouch for that. Like, them boys gave me cleats. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm out there with jeans on. You know, in the summertime, trying to figure out how the hell to learn. I never ran a route until that summer. Wow. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I never ran a route in my life till that summer. I went from a running back or from a quarterback as a youngster to a running back to getting to UC, and we already had running backs. You know what I mean? And, I mean, Good went through the change just like me because he was that quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Then coming to Cincy, they moved him to receiver. But Goody taught me how to release. He taught me how to run routes. He taught me how to run blind. He taught me, they spent that time with me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, even when he asked me about the podcast, I'm like, bro, you know, whatever you want, you got for me, bro. You know what I'm saying? But appreciate y'all boys for having me on the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. We're glad to have you on, Mardy, anytime. Excited to get into it. We'll have Mardy on for the first half of the show today. And then back half of the show, we'll dive into an EKU preview and also touch on some of the concessions upgrades and signage upgrades. That Ring of Honor getting moved at Nippert Stadium. We'll dive into all that in the back half of the show. But as you mentioned, Mardy, you and Dom, good buddies, tied at the hip and tied in the record book as well. 204 career receptions for both of you, both tied for second with Ladarius Van for most receptions in the history of UC football. Mardy, just maybe update the people on what you have going on today. Obviously, you went on from UC to be a 4th-round pick in the NFL draft, played a few years in the NFL, and then went around the Arena League, CFL, all that stuff. What do you got going on today as we stand in 2020?
I'm a coach, man. Coach and a trainer. Train DBs, train wideouts, even quarterbacks. Just being able to just give the knowledge back, man. That's the biggest thing for me. Coach at a Catholic high school here in Shrewsbury, Massachusetts, St. John's. Was coaching a little minute at Nichols College in Dudley. Same place. I mean, up here in Massachusetts. I live in Mass now. So, I mean, being a dad, man, just had my third kid. Finally got a boy, Goody. You know, you know. So I got my junior, my Mardy Jr. You know what I mean? Was born in July. You know, I got my 2 daughters. You know, one still is in Cincinnati. Just trying to enjoy the whole transition of going from catching passes to teaching guys how to catch. You know, running routes to teaching guys how to run a route. You know, catching balls from great quarterbacks and being able to take what, those intimate conversations that we've had, with our quarterbacks and kind of translating that to our youngsters and letting them know, because it's a different game. The rules have changed. The physicality of the game has changed. The game has become a lot more softer. You know what I mean? And a lot more offensive happy. No one, when me and Good was playing like a great game, man, was like 21-17, 24-17. That was a great game. Like,
right.
Great game. You know what I'm saying? Now, people want to see the 40s, 40-20 games, 40-15 games. They want to see the 50-plus games. They want to see these high-scoring games. And you see a lot less pass interference call, a lot more pass interference call in today's game. So it's a lot going on. But for me, man, it's just, again, the training and the coaching and just, getting used to being old, man.
Nah, you guys aren't that old. Go ahead, Dom. Floor is yours.
Just mainly just, like you said, you played DB. Nobody really knew about that besides people in the locker room. Just basically just kind of like, what was more like, what was harder to learn? Was it the DB or transitioning to receiver?
Receiver for sure. Receiver for sure. Because like DB, you have blind moments. You know what I'm saying? But most of your DB stuff is like eye discipline, eye transition. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're at the hip. You're not really worried about the pick. That's why a lot of picks are like, they either fall in the bucket to a guy or a guy like dives and go get it. You know what I'm saying? Especially in today's game, but just happen to turn around and actually run a route, right? And the ball's thrown. Like, look, remember how long it took me, bro, to learn how to catch the curl, bro? Just a curl, bro. Like, yeah, you said goody. Like, bro, just a curl. Like, just a curl, Like, I can't tell y'all how many times the ball just, pew! By the time I get my head around, trying to fit in, it's just like there is a whole nother ball game. Like learning coverage on as you're running. Like as a DB, we know what's up. We know cover 2, cover 3, fold, check, check man, whatever. That's set in stone. Our type of offense, and I use this term a lot. I say we were the grandfathers of the fast pace, the football that they see now. It was three teams that was like that. Us, Hawaii, and Oregon. You know what I'm saying? Boise had a little something with it, but wasn't nobody. For one, there was no other faster pace offense than us. And you could check the numbers on that. You know what I mean? I actually just had this conversation with our old OC because we were the worst team in Division I football in time of possession, and we were the second leading scoring team. So what that told you.
Was that something you guys both kind of embraced when Brian Kelly got there? Were you guys like, all right, the wide receivers are going to be able to really have an even bigger impact on winning the game and the stat book? Obviously, I've already run through the statistics you guys have put up in the UC.
I'm not going to give Kelly no credit. No, I'm not giving Kelly no credit for shit. Excuse my language. You feel me? So he gets no credit. Charlie Monar, yes.
All right.
You feel me? And good. Again, I hate to put you on the butt, but listen, this shit need to be said because I get tired of seeing like everybody act like Brian Kelly was this great coach. Hell no. You feel what I'm saying? No. He was good at like I guess picking a staff for sure. Okay. You feel what I'm saying? Because the staff was pressure. At any place he's been at, his staff has been extremely good. You know what I'm saying? But me personally, man, listen, man, I don't know if this kid friendly, but I'm gonna just keep my language to at bay for you good. You feel what I'm saying? But I can't stand that man. I still years later still don't like that man. I hate his guts. You know what I mean? Because he got credit for something that the coaching staff never got credit for, and they did all the work. They did all the grind. They spent all the hours. They spent all the extra time. They took all the licks when it was wrong, and he got all praise when they were right. You know what I mean? So for me, everybody, if you was in the locker room with me, y'all know when I get a chance to tell him, I tell it real. You feel what I'm saying? So like Charlie Monar was hell bent on getting us to be fast. You know what I mean? Everything was about fast-paced timing. We had to be lined up with like 6 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was the number. I think it was signaling and lined up. I think it was in 6 seconds. The ball had to be hyped. You know what I'm saying? And to Coach Monar, he said, we will get to 70 plays so fast, Marty, you wouldn't even know it. You know, the defense, you wouldn't even know it. And we literally, by the time the third quarter was ending, we were like 55 plays. You know what I'm saying? We're like, golly. You know, wouldn't it, you know, but now you look at the defense and DBs are hands on their hips, like D linemen, they're taking forever to get in their stands, you know. So like we were beating teams based off the fact that we were super in shape because we practiced so fast, you know what I mean? So again, all the credit would go to, for me, all the credit would go to like Coach Quinn, like Greg Forrest, you know what I'm saying? Charlie Monar, you know, those coaches, because they spent a lot of time and took a lot of heat, you know what I mean, for us, and took it on the chin like, man, and kept it pushing. And they got us better every day. I'm talking about every single day. We didn't have an off day, you know. Even, you know, sometimes you'll have offense win days and defense win days. We had 50-50 days damn near all year. You know what I mean? Like, we might win the first half of practice, defense come bite. Defense might win the first half, second part of practice, then offense we lighten it up, you know. Because the one thing, like, Good, he wouldn't allow us to lose too much, right? Like, he was real quiet, but when Goody opened his mouth or he got pissed off, like, you knew you knew you had to tighten up. You know, cause bro he wasn't gonna say nothing. He was like our silent assassin. You know what I'm saying? Like, he'll go off, you know, 150 yards, you know, catch everything in the world, and then won't have no emotion. Like, bro would be like a Buddhist monk. You know what I'm saying? But when if he got upset, you know, and he opened his mouth, now it was like, all right, we sit there and we listen, cause bro wouldn't open his mouth much. You know what I'm saying? But when he did, we knew what time it was. So, you know, a combination of all those guys together, I have to give credit to, you know, giving us the ability to be that fast-paced offense, high-scoring offense, you know, doing what we did.
Very glad I asked that, for sure. Very glad I asked. Glad you got the floor to clarify that. Go ahead, Dom, all you.
Really, what do you feel like? Okay, for I guess for the young kids, what would you say was the most challenging thing coming and going to college, from going to high school and then going to college where everybody got the same accolades?
Well, all right, two things. One to be a praising speech, and then the other one to be kind of the question of, right? I'm going to use our class, right, at Cincy, right? So our class at Cincy, the 2005 class that came through Cincinnati, right? That was the best class in any sport to come through that school. I'm gonna put that out there. And the reason I say that is I think we had 3 Mr. Basketballs on that team. I think we had the USA Today Defensive Player of the Year. We had probably, over 15, close to probably 15 of our 20, I think it was 33 of us. 15 of that 33 were first team All-State guys. You know what I'm saying? And out of that 15, I want to say maybe close to 10, you know, had state title rings. You know what I'm saying? So, like, we didn't know, you know, guys played on #1 teams in the nation, top high school teams in the nation. You got to think, like, I came to school just this kid, backwood kid, you know, highly rated running back coming out of Florida. But
sorry about that. So, but I was light, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't fit the type of backs that our off-nine OC, you know. So, like, I got to school not knowing nothing about the rest of my counterparts, you know. But then I get to school and bump into it. You know, they come from Corinth. And, you know, Cincinnati Corinth, powerhouse in the nation. Yeah, running that old school triple option everybody else. And built for it. Really built for it tough. Like, they really built for the power game. You know, they got Mister back there, you know, in the backfield. You had, you know, Terrell Bird, his brother, his twin. But like Terrell Bird, I didn't know who he was, but he's the #1 player in the nation. You know, the #1 defensive player in the nation. You know what I mean? USA Today Defensive Player of the Year. You know what I mean? We had 2 or 3 like Derek Stewart. You know, myself, Brad Jones, Mike Mickey. God, who am I? Connor Barr, Jason Kelsey.
Yeah, Kazane. Kazane was a 5-star.
You know, Jeffrey Lincolnbaum. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we had guys. What's going on? Why I can't hear? Why I can't? I seen your lip. Why I can't hear nothing?
We're having some audio issues. Maybe pop back out, Marty, and join back in. We'll do that. All right, good stuff so far with Mardy Gilyard. Great time to take a break. We'll go with Marty for a little bit of the back half. Still got some stuff we want to talk to Marty about from his UC career, most of it alongside our co-host right here, former UC wide receiver Dominick Goodman. We'll hit Marty back up. We'll get him back on the fold for the back half of this Bearcat Blitz show. And, of course, going to touch on the concessions updates, the new signage around Nippert, and preview EKU real quick before Saturday's game 1 of the 2023 season for UC. Right back after this on Bearcat Blitz. Bringing Mardy Gilyard back into the fold now. Lost him for just a second there, but we got him going now. And Marty, yeah, go ahead and continue with just kind of the story and some advice maybe for kids that are going into school now and having to kind of be at the same level, not necessarily the same level, but similar levels to other elite talents in football.
Yeah, so I mean, I was just kind of touching, using myself and our class as an example. We had Kazim Ali. I could keep naming everybody in our class had clout. Everybody in our class was
elite class for sure.
I was the lowest rated, I think, recruit I was a 2-star. You know what I'm saying? I think I was the lowest rated, out of the bunch, but I was first team, three sports, right? So I'm looking at everybody when I first get there, and we all looking at each other the same way. But what was crazy was out of the 33 guys that came, 28 of us played as true freshmen. You know what I'm saying? That's a powerful class, so we all had to literally adjust and adapt on the fly. You know what I'm saying? We all coming from being the man, treated as such, treated at a high standard, getting our asses kissed, to be honest, to be blunt with it. You know what I'm saying? Everyone knows what you're capable of. Everyone knows what you're doing. But when you go to college, none of that shit matters, what you did in high school. The only thing that matters is your play retention, your ability to make plays, pressure plays. Because they expect you to make like the wide open goal or hit the wide open hole, but you know what I'm saying? But they're not expecting you, right, to sit there and suck in the playbook, be able to learn 40 plays in a night and be able to break those 40 plays down in different formations so you can actually understand those. Being able to understand coverage on the fly, because most kids, and truth be told, most kids coming out of high school, you don't know how to read no defense. You feel what I'm saying? You really can't tell the difference between 4 and 2. You know what I mean? It's too high to you. You know what I mean? Because you could play 4 from corners up or corners, you know what I mean? So it's like, you really don't know the intricate details on how, it's a chess game in college, So forgetting about all your accolades and really coming into college, the message to the kids is coming into college wanting to be the guy, and how you be that guy is be able to show your consistency as well as being a student. You have to fall in love with becoming a student of the game, because everyone's fast. Your athletic ability gets cut short when you come to college. What gets you the guy that makes plays is how smart and how fast you can learn, how smart you are and how fast you can learn. So being able to retain those things and take the coaching, you know what I mean, and regurgitate that back to your coach. Those are the important things. You could be 4-2 all day, but what if I got a corner that's 4-4 and I play cover 3 and your ass is 4-2 and you can't get over top and you can't run no routes? You know what I'm saying? So you didn't take the time because your high school coach told you could just run past everything. You know what I mean? But then you get to college and you realize we got 3-4 guys on our team that are 4-2. You know what I'm saying? Those are the things that come in handy. You know what I mean? those are the things that make everything. So being hungry, man, being able to take care of that in that aspect is those are the things, you know, I think that help the kids be more successful, man, when they make that transition. It's just like really being dumb to the fact that you was the man and come in ready to show everyone that your mental is where it needs to be, because the physical is going to be what it is. We got every college got a great coach. We got great speed training. We got great weights. We got great bands. We got great trainers. You know, you got great everything. But who's the one that's smart? Who's the one that can take all the coaching? Who's the one that can absorb everything? Who's the one that can give it back to the coach the way he wanted? You know, mixed in with your athleticism, mixed in with your little sauce that you brought to the table. You know what I mean? Those are the things that help the kids succeed.
Last one here, rapid fire. We'll go trio rapid fire questions for Mardy and let him get on with the rest of his week. Very gracious with his time on this week's Bearcat Blitz. I'm your host, Russ Heltman, joined by former UC wide receiver, 2 former UC wide receivers today, and guys that made a lot of plays together on the same field, Dominick Goodman and Mardy Gilyard, our special guest, Mardy Gilyard. So, Mardy, favorite play during your UC career? Is there one that stands out?
Breaking the record.
Which one? You set a couple records. You record at the school.
It was the touchdown record. It was the touchdown record, just because it wasn't for me. It was like every play. Like I'm not a selfish cat. Everybody know me know like I'm not like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. But when I broke it, you know, like, I don't know if you could see it on camera, but when I caught that touchdown, I instantly put a number 1 up, pointed to the sky, and I was crying. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And a lot of people didn't know why. You know what I mean? I was, because I feel like me and my dogs did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, me and my dogs did it. You know, I instantly thought about to the days that I was in the car and, you know, I'm on the field in the jeans and, you know, my boys are like, Goody, that's my dog. Like, that's my boy. You know what I'm saying? Bones, these are my boys. These are the guys that allowed me to sleep on the couch, you know, when I was homeless the nights. You know what I'm saying? These the guys that that used to get the merchandise for me, give me a UC t-shirt, give me some shorts to run in, you know what I'm saying? So when I did it, I felt like we all did it together, because it was a collection of all of them, because I would not have been in that position without them. You know what I mean? So for me, it was the record. It was the record by far. I mean, I did a lot of things, but, you know, the record, by far the record. And in the Oklahoma game, you know, those two, because the Oklahoma game, we had so much animosity built up, like, amongst us. Like, we had so much pressure built up because we wanted to show the nation that we ain't this little ass school that y'all keep trying to put us as. You know what I'm saying? Like, we compete with everybody around here, you know, and we gonna show y'all better than we could tell y'all. And we was on them. We was on Oklahoma ass in the beginning, but, you know, it is what it is. But that game, you know, Goody showed he was a top receiver in the nation. I showed I was a top receiver in the nation. Bones showed it. You know what I mean? Our defense had showed up. O-line showed up. Quarterback showed up. Like, we was,
That was the 2008 game, right? The 2008 matchup against Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. And funny enough, you guys kicked off the season that year against Eastern Kentucky, kicking off this season against Eastern Kentucky. And you played Oklahoma, I think, in 2010, but once again, facing Oklahoma in the regular season, all coming full circle. And we unfortunately don't have enough time. I got a ton more I want to get to with Mardy. We'll definitely have to have him on. We're going to have to give Mardy his own show. Maybe we'll do that during the off season or something. Maybe during the bye week, we could have you on, but we will definitely get Mardy Gilyard back on the show. This was awesome, Mardy. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. And good luck with all the coaching over there in Massachusetts. And maybe we'll get you out for a UC game in Nippert Stadium here soon with the Big 12 fanfare going in full force.
For sure, fellas. For sure. See y'all boys soon. Appreciate y'all boys for having me. Good. I love you, boy. As always, Cat Daddy, you know what time it is, baby.
Love you too, man. I'm going to get with you, man, after this, man.
Sure. Y'all boys take it easy.
All right, man.
Awesome stuff there from Mardy Gilyard. So good, Dominick. And just really cool to see the love that you guys kind of obviously all share together as a receiving room. I want to dive into some more of those stories when we get we're going to have plenty of time in the offseason. We're going to definitely dive into that Rolodex of former teammates that Dominick's got, and we're going to get into all of those fun times from the late 2000s, the late aughts, when the Bearcats were really making noise in the Big East. And very cool. I think the biggest takeaway I have from that is how adamant he was about the assistants and that whole Brian Kelly staff needing to get their just due. And I'm really glad that I asked that and that he got to dive into that answer. All right, Dominic, from one frying pan into another fire here, we have Eastern Kentucky on deck. Don't have a ton of time, less than 5 minutes left in the show. I think the main question is, how long in this game does Eastern Kentucky stay in it? How long is this game going to be within 10 points? Over under the first quarter, I think this Bearcats team is ready to make a statement. They're ready to start strong for Scott Satterfield in my eyes. I've been seeing good things practice-wise, maybe one bad day over the last 4 or 5 practices I've been able to get to across the entire fall camp stretch. That 3 to 4 practices, really. Only one of those have been bad from Emory Jones. I think the running game is looking good. The offensive line is gelling slowly but surely, and the defense is going to be able to handle one of the better offenses in the FCS. And on the flip side, it's a terrible defense that Eastern Kentucky's bringing. Man, I don't think this one's going to be very pretty to look at for too long.
Nah, not at all. Especially with UC right now, just everybody's hungry on all phases of the football. You got an offense with new faces. Guys is hungry to show the world what they're made of. You got a defense where guys is moved around and trying to prove themselves to the world as well. And then special teams, same thing. So when you got that going into a game like this, you kind of expect UC to pull it out early. But you just never know, because it's a team that with a quarterback they have with EKU that can sling it the way he does. You can keep him in the game, but it just all depends how they started off.
Yeah, no doubt. One more topic to get to here, and talking about the concessions upgrades and the kind of new signage. I'm loving the new signage. I don't know if you got to see any of the photos yet, Dominic, but the Ring of Honor change. It's up on the kind of the wraparound part of the stadium, all the way at the top, as opposed to the north end zone lower level there. And I'm very excited to see how all the Bearcats fans react to that. Have you gotten a chance to see kind of the new old logo they put out there and the numbers up along the ring now instead of the north end zone?
Yeah, I got a chance to look at all the pictures. I've been looking at all the UC stuff, 3 more days. I'm excited myself, so I've been looking at all the stuff, and it's really cool, man, especially even seeing with volleyball, because they started off in the Big 12, kicked off, and that was just cool to really see us finally in the Big 12 conference and seeing these teams that we're going to play against. It's exciting, you know, so it puts us in a situation where we don't got to sit out here and try to win people over to put us in a BCS championship game. So yeah, I'm excited, and I love everything about it. So
it's gonna be great. Yeah, those block Roman numerals, man, they're looking very pretty on that green Carson Field at Nippert Stadium. Final thing I have for you, Dominic, and before we get out of here, you can give a quick answer as we wrap up here. When going into a game like this, where you guys had that, you talked about that similar scenario with Marty and the Oklahoma game that you guys fell in. You were big underdogs, made some noise early, but ultimately it didn't go your guys' way. I'm guessing that's just a product of talent on talent, overall team roster talent versus UC's overall roster talent overcoming that. And it's not really, in my eyes, especially for EKU, when you see how they've been able to take out FBS schools last year, take Eastern Michigan down to the wire, beat Bowling Green. It feels like they're going to be able to meet the moment in terms of not being too shaken by the Nippert Stadium atmosphere, but it might just end up being where you're just overcome by talent. Is that kind of what you guys faced when you would go up against those top tier teams that you didn't end up beating?
It's just one of them things. I always came into it for as like, shoot, I got nothing to lose. What's the worst is going to happen? You know, people expect you to lose anyway, so you might as well go in there swinging and empty the clip. So
classic underdog mentality type of thing. Yeah.
And really it comes down to, it could be talent on talent, but it's just like how Marty said, you got guys that's running 4.2s, can't catch a rock or don't know the route. So in that game, our start Grusa went down. That was our starting quarterback. And then Pike got thrown in, and Pike was repping at camp. He was repping to be a 3. So it was a situation where Pike wasn't ready for the game, and he got thrown in the second half when our quarterback broke his leg. So that was kind of more of a quarterback got hurt, what we do now, you know. But really, it's just about your mindset and your mind frame, how you want to attack the game.
There you go. Dominick Goodman on it right there. Hopefully for Bearcats fans, the EKU Colonels do not have the correct mindset and have a freak injury happen. Knock on wood, nothing like that happens to the Bearcats' top players or top most important player, which is always going to be the quarterback, and that guy being Emory Jones heading into 2023. For Dominick Goodman, I'm Russ Heltman signing off of this week's Bearcat Blitz. We'll have you covered on Monday's show with a full breakdown of the EKU matchup, what we saw, what we liked, what we didn't like out of the Bearcats in Game 1 of the 2023 season. This has been Bearcat Blitz.
Ritter to the end zone, looking for Pierce. Did he hang on? Yes. Touchdown. Back as I've been around. Here he goes again. Busts free. Jerome Ford down the sideline. Foot race. House call. Touchdown. 79 yards. Big one in the Peach Bowl. This is a big one too.